And this is an open letter to my Jewish friends, the people of Israel, um, those who actually have chosen to live in Israel, whether mostly secular Europeans from all over Europe and North America who have chosen to go to Asia and live in Asia. Folks, it's clear. It's right on your complexion. It's written that you are Europeans. Now, whether you choose to live in Asia is up to you. But the thing is, it's Asia. You're not going to ever run out of Asians in Asia unless you commit another Holocaust of your own to get rid of all the Asians in Asia. Those people who live there, they're Asians, and you have come all the way from Europe and North America. Those people over there, those are the kind of Asians we call Arabs, and you're really not going to run out of them. Run, and the idea run out as in like as many as you kill, you're not going to run out of Arabs. It's their land. It's sort of like going into a ant's nest and trying to bring a lot of hardware to kill all the ants in a square mile. Can you do it? Is it economical to try to kill all the ants in 1 square mile? It's impossible. There is underground. They literally are going underground in Gaza and other areas in the Arab world. They're literally going underground to try to protect themselves from you guys. This idea that you can go into a land that you're not familiar with, that is not yours, and please don't give me 3,000 years ago it was ours. Yeah, 4,000 years ago it belonged to somebody else, and 2,000 years ago it belonged to somebody else. So what is it that we have to stop at the 3,000 mark? We have to go back to the 3,000 years ago mark and determine who was the owner then, and the same people should be owner now, based on you know what logic? One potato, two potato. It just doesn't make sense. And the idea that you are from Europe left 3,000, let's assume you were there sometime 3,000 years ago. You have left 3,000 years ago, you have come back, and now you demand your property back. Well, I mean, if you haven't lived on a property for 100 years, you probably, the title is in somebody else's name by now. You haven't been living on the land for 3,000 years. That title has changed hand 15 times. Are you are you fucking kidding me? To say that no, we don't care, the title has changed hands 15 times, we want it back because it used to belong to us 3,000 years ago. You go do this in a real estate transaction right now, go back to a house that you sold or whatever 10 years ago and tell to the owner that no, this house used to belong to me 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I want it back. Ha! So the point is this. That's why they keep chain of title to know who's the last owner of a property, who's the last person who has some rights to that property. That's why there's a chain of title. Anyway, my point is this, my Israeli friends. You guys are from Europe. Do you think under any circumstance you can think for yourself? Under any circumstance, can you see that you can kill Arabs and then at one point these Arabs are going to shake hands with you and be friends with you? It, it's not logical. It's sort of like you can kill them, you can continue killing them, and then at the same time you expect their cousins or their uncle to shake hands with you in friendship. The whole, Abraham Accords was laughable. I mean, you know, it's a piece of paper. Let the Arabs sign almost any piece of paper you give them. But execution is important. The people who live in those Arab lands that these sheiks rule over, those people, you're killing some Arabs over there, and you expect other to make friends with other Arabs somewhere else, nearby in the neighborhood. Can you do that? You go to a neighborhood and kill a couple of the neighbors, and what happens? Then, then the other neighbors are going to invite you for barbecue. Become friends with you because you killed a couple of the neighbors. Can you imagine that? That you go and you kill a couple people, and then you expect the rest of people to be friends with you. Couple people that are closely related. They're Arabs. The Palestinians are Arabs. The Egyptians are Arabs. The Iraqis are Arabs. The Saudis are Arabs. They're all Arabs belonging in West Asia. They are the native flora and fauna. At what point do you think? How many my Israeli friends, people of Israel, I'm talking to? How many Arabs do you think you can kill until the other Arab make friends with you? Can you name a number that if we kill this many number of Arabs, at this point all the other Arabs in the neighborhood will become our friends? The more you kill of them, the less you move away from friendship. And please don't give me the Abraham Accords, because that's not friendship. A couple of Arab sheiks have been paid off, or was expected of them to sign a couple of papers with you, but you have killed so many Arabs during 75 years. You think at one point in the future these Arabs are going to become your friends, the real people on the ground? It's never going to happen. The more you kill, the less friends you make, the less possibility, and you have moved away from that possibility for 75 years now. You've been moving away because you have adopted the position of my way or the highway, our way or go to Egypt, our way or go to Syria, our way or go to Lebanon, our way or go to Jordan, our way or go to the open prison in Gaza and places in West Bank, because you want to keep a majority in that area of Europeans, North Americans, Europeans, basically people of European origin, white people, pink skins. You want to keep a majority of pink skins in that area that you call democracy, so you can run it as a democracy. Because if you let those Arabs in that you're trying to kill, then you go into minority, and the Arabs are going to be the majority, and then in that way you can't have a democracy. You don't want that kind of democracy where you're in a minority. This is the thing. This is the PTSD that the Jewish people suffer from, is that you don't want to be a minority. Again, you want a piece of land of your own to be the majority over there. And in order to be the majority, you have to get rid of a lot of brown people. But the problem is that that area is native to brown people. You can never, expect the brown people, especially after you killed so many of them, you can never expect the brown people to accept you, period. Unless you literally go into minority and hope for the best. Unless you let the normal flora fauna back into the land that is Arab. They're going to be the majority because it's their land. It's in Asia. You're European. Maybe you were Asian 3,000 years ago. Who cares? I was African 3,000 years ago. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, people of Israel, I mean, you guys are, you keep telling us, you keep telling everybody that you're very smart. What are you doing over there? My smart people. What are you doing? Are you making more friends by killing people or less friends? Do you think you're buying your own security by killing more Arabs in the Middle East? You become more secure by killing more people. Dude, imagine in terms of one person. If one person goes around and kills 20 people, he's going to be wanted by many people. The more people, imagine a serial killer. The more people a serial killer kills, the more people the serial killer pisses off. The more people they kill, a serial killer kills, the more families, the more relatives of the new person that the serial killer has killed gets pissed off, and they make more enemies. That serial killer now has more enemies. Well, every day a serial killer kills, he gets a bunch of new enemies. And and the biggest enemy of all is the representative of the people, so that would be the government, the security forces. It's just that now you have the security forces of planet Earth, that would be Uncle Sam's managers, in your back pocket. You have the security forces. You have the governing body of planet Earth, which is apparently Uncle Sam's managers, behind you. But still, as a serial killer, do you think the more people you kill, the more there's a better chance of you making friends? People are shitless of you. They don't love you. They're shit. The people in the neighborhood, they're shitless because of all the arms that Uncle Sam's managers have given you. Because of all that arms, people are shitless, scared of Israel. All the people in the neighborhood, they don't like you. They will never be friends with you. Any chance they get, they want to, you know, undermine you. But on the surface, they might just, pretend they don't see you. Look the other way because they're helpless, these Arab states. But at no point their population is going to be more enthusiastic to make friends with Israel or Israeli people. If the more you kill, the less chances of that. It's just that simple. Serial killers, as they go through life, they don't make more friends, they make less friends. This idea that at one point there is going to be one point that you kill the last Palestinian, the last brown guy, and then you're going to have no problem. Then it's going to be peace. It's just not going to happen. It's the land of the brown people. This idea that we are intelligent, where is this intelligence? I want to know. Next year in Jerusalem, oh, yeah, great. Next year go to Jerusalem. They go to Hajj. The Muslims go to Hajj. You go there, you do your little song and dance show, and you go back home. Yes, next year why next year? This year in Jerusalem. But go back. Go, meet, go back home. See, go back home. Just like Hajj. There is no reason for as Jewish folks to be permanent residents, not only permanent residents of a piece of Asia, but also want to rule. They've come from Europe and they want to rule a piece of land in Asia. They're Europeans, but they want to rule on a piece of land in Asia. And please don't tell me 3,000 years ago we were Asians. 3,000 years ago I was African. Probably. That doesn't mean make me African today. It's that too hard to understand for a bunch of very smart people. You are literally at this point. It's been 75 years of Vietnam. Vietnam War ended. It was, I don't know, after 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. I don't have the numbers on that, but you've been running a Vietnam for 75 years, and there's no point. There is no point at which you're going to win this game because you're a minority of European. in a piece of Asia, a minority of pink skins, in a majority of brown skins. You think by killing more of brown skins, you're going to eventually reach a point to make friends with the brown skins. That's not going to happen. South Africa didn't happen exactly for the same reason. It happened in, in North America and South America just because, they got rid of all the redskins. Are you prepared to have the blood of like 500 million Arabs on your hand? And if you do that, do you think then after that, if imagine you kill 500 million Arabs, all of them, now what? Or do you think those races that were neighbors to Arabs are going to be your friends because you killed so many Arabs? I mean, if you think that you can you can deal with them from the point of strength, well, then you're buying generation after generation of PTSD for your people. I mean, if I have to, if an Israeli has to shit his or her pants every time he or she walks down the street and they see a brown guy with a Palestinian flag or without a Palestinian, just a brown guy walking down the street, and these Ashkenazi Europeans, you guys who are walking down the street, and you see an Arab guy walking the opposite direction, you're going to shit your pants, or hold tight to your gun. This idea that all your children or your youngsters are armed and are walking around with M16, there are pictures of it all over the internet of Israelis walking around very normal in a very normal attire with a Tommy Bahama shirt. They're walking around and there is this M16 hanging on the on their back while they're tending their babies. That's not a life. That's PTSD written all over it. I don't care why she has a rifle on her back and a baby in her hand. That's PTSD. Women are insecure as is. Now you want to give them a rifle to, that just, give that's more insecurity. And if you really have to carry a rifle everywhere, that means you're extremely insecure, very insecure. You die once. Okay, if I have to die, okay, I die. But the idea that I'm going to go through life carrying a handgun to protect me, that means I'm expecting every minute to be attacked. That's PTSD. If you expect to be attacked every minute, therefore you carry arms with you, then I'm sorry, you have PTSD. Because under a normal person doesn't expect to be attacked 24/7. If you're living under conditions that you expect, if your children are living under conditions that they expect to be attacked almost at any given time, and every time they see a brown guy coming down the street, the brown guy could be a fucking Indian tourist. It doesn't matter. If he looks brown, if he looks Palestinian, if he looks Arab, I'm gonna, be ready with my rifle. Or if I don't have my rifle with me, oh shit, I'm going to shed my pants. That's no kind of life. Are you fucking kidding me? This is you want your children to grow up with PTSD? I'm sorry. I think you've been fooled. I think you've been fooled, my Jewish friends in Israel. I think you've been fooled by the Anglo-Saxons. You've been fooled. You've been given a deed to a land that the Anglo-Saxons really didn't own, or if they won through war, the native land had some natives on it. And you can't tell me that land was empty and it was never didn't have native. I don't care if you call it Palestine or not. It had natives on it. Why? I'm sure. Native Arabs. You know why I'm sure? Because it's a holy place for three different religions. It's a holy place for three different common religions on this planet. And you cannot tell me a place. You go to, you know, uh, Mecca, this place that the Muslim go. You can't tell me that, and that place is only holy for one of these religions, Islam. Because it's only important for one of those religions, it's one of the, most commercial cities that Saudi Arabia has, just for this, because it's holy for just this one religion. Very crowded, the most crowded city, the most commercially important city has become that Mecca and area around it because of all the business, this being a holy piece of land, because of all the business it brings. So, but you're going to sit there and tell me that this land was empty when you came in and you just, had to clean it up? Are you fucking kidding me? It's a holy land, holy to three different religions. They have had the whole fucking centuries of crusade wars, and before that, the Persians and the Romans and the Persians and the Greek were fighting over this piece of supposed holy land. You're telling me this land that so many wars have been fought over it and is holy to three different religions. You're telling me this land was empty when you arrived. Salute. It's like saying Mecca was empty, is empty at any point in the life of Islam for 1400 years. You're telling me it's like, yeah, we went in and the city that is very important to religious people, it was empty and we just took it over. Sure. So it's logical that that area was never empty. In fact, was very crowded. Is very crowded because of its holy aspect and also nice weather. Not for farming, but for enjoying the sun. So it's clear it was never empty. It had natives. You came in, you wanted to be the majority in a democracy, so you decided to push the natives out so the white people can be the majority. And you think this is sustainable. You can't set your goal at infinity. If you're ever going to reach a goal, you can't choose goals that are infinity. This is such a goal. Are you willing to infinitely kill all the redskin, all the brown skins, like the North Americans killed all the redskins? Are you willing to do that? And if so, in Asia you have to go all the way to China, because you kill all the Arabs, then you're left with the non-Arabs, Arab neighbors, who are also not very going to be very upset with you because you just killed all their neighbors who are Arabs. And then you reach, Central Asia. You think, those people are going to be happy just because you killed the other race? I guess what I'm trying to tell you, my Israeli friends, is the best thing you can do is understand that your government, for whatever reason, the people in charge have got into an infinite game. And this infinite game is going to waste a lot of lives, both native and settler, and it's not really ever going to end. It's a never ending war. You can't kill more natives and expect to one day make friends with the natives. You really can't do that. That I mean, even the few handful of Indians, Redskins that are left in North America, they're still pissed off of Uncle Sam's managers. Those natives of Hawaii still left and right over the internet, you know, curse Uncle Sam's managers for taking their land and taking their culture and this and that. It's never going to happen. And these are in the minorities of 0.0001%. They killed the, the majority and overwhelmed them. It's a racial thing. It's a race thing that, Europeans want to be with other Europeans and others. It's not about also about the Europeans. Brown people also want to be with brown people, and black people want to be with black people, and yellow people want to be with yellow people. It's, the whole idea behind Chinatown. People are more comfortable with their tribe. But the problem, and I understand that you want to be a majority in that democracy you call Israel. In your country, you want to be a majority. But the problem is your country is not in Europe, where Europeans, which you resemble them, you look like Europeans. I'm not sure why you look Europeans. Even if you change your names and make it sound Hebrew, you still look Europeans. You can't change your looks. You think European. There is at no point that there is, and the more you kill, you move farther away from a solution. And the solution is simple. You have to accept being in minority because you're in Asia and you're European. Then that's Asia. I introduced you. You, European. That, Asia. The only way you can live there is if we be a minority. So I think your government is, they have a mission that the Anglo-Saxons have given them. And doing this mission, they're making a lot of money. But I feel the average folks in Israel who are not making all this money, whether through defense or whatever that is related to the Anglo-Saxons over there, if you're an average Israeli who is, you're just getting PTSD out of this deal. An average Israeli who is not connected with, you know, defense contracting and intelligence contracting, and who's not connected with suppressing the natives, anybody in Israel not connected with the business of suppressing the natives is just, is a person going through PTSD. Apparently just for the sake of, nice sunny weather. That's it. I will go through PTSD. I will carry my M16 on my back everywhere I go because I feel insecure. I'm always going to be armed because I feel insecure. I'm always going to be on the lookout because I feel insecure, because we are Europeans living on Asian land. We are white people living on brown people land. Therefore, I feel insecure all the time. Therefore, I'm going to arm myself all the time. Be armed. That's PTSD written all over it. Why would anybody want that by choice? And this is the promised land, the land in which I have to live on it with PTSD. I was living on a land with PTSD, and I decided to go on in a land that I don't have to live with PTSD. So you're a minority in Asia. You're a minority of Europeans in Asia. It's obvious that minorities, especially when they're trying to enforce their will onto the majority. You're a minority who's trying to enforce your will onto the majority. Minority of European Ashkenazi Jews who are trying to enforce your will, your territorial claims on the majority who are Semitic Arab. Arabic speaking Arab brown skins. A minority is trying to enforce their will on a majority. It's an unsustainable situation. It's physics. If you have to push to get what you want, as long as you push, you get what you want. But as soon as you get tired and pick up your hand, the system goes back to equilibrium. That means Vietnam. That means a no ending war. This thing is never gonna end. And so you're going to tell me for the next 100 years you want 4 generations more of Israelis have PTSD. This is the promised land, a land at which I have to live on it with PTSD. Fuck no. Ah, thank you very much. No promises. I will visit Jerusalem if I want once a year, see the monkeys, see the shed show, buy a carpet, and go home. Back to, Germany, France, New York, Los Angeles. I don't want to go live in the shed show, seriously, in where I have to live with PTSD amongst Arabs because I want to enforce my will to the Arabs. Fuck. Yeah, this is not the smart thing, my smart people. This is not the smart thing. This is not a smart move. The smart move is you want to live there, fine. You have to live with all the Arabs and accept to be part of the government, not the whole of the government. And there is no two-state because two-state solution that will not work because you don't want to accept them as a state. You want to give them a reservation. You tell them that you cannot have your own army, you cannot have your own navy, you can only have a fucking police force. And frankly, that wouldn't be a nation. That would be a reservation, as they have in North America, given to the Redskins. And that's insulting because they're the majority. They're the Arabs, native to the land in West Asia and North Africa. You're humiliating the native. Just look at it from this way. You're a minority, humiliating a majority, and you expect to make friends with this majority? If I was a minority and wanted to make friends with the majority, I wouldn't try to humiliate the majority. They would be asking for my blood. Are you fucking kidding me? Minority of Europeans going to Asia and humiliating the Asians, the Arabs, the brown people, the Semites from the land, humiliating them and killing them and murdering them and shooting them and blah blah blah, and taking their land and homes, and then expect to be friends with them. I thought you're supposed to be the smart people, my Jewish friend of Israel. And I love it that they keep saying that Shah of Iran is our own side, was on our side. And then they brag that the king of Saudi Arabia and the prince of Saudi Arabia, they are on our side. They are on your side from time to time because they have shit their pants. They know you're the agent of the Anglo-Saxons in that area, and their people are never going to be on your side. Their leaders, some of them from time to time, they come to your side because from the Shah to Saudis now, Shah of Iran, and to the Saudis now, they were on your side because they had shit their pants because they have seen that they get the old model planes and you get the new model planes. They get the old missiles and you get the new missiles, and they get they get the last year's fashion from Uncle Sam. They purchase the last year's fashion from Uncle Sam, and you get this year's fashion for free from Uncle Sam. So they kind of, they have to like you if they want to stay in power. But then some of them, like Shah of Iran, if they like you too much and their people don't like you, they don't agree with Europeans in Asia, controlling Asia, parts of Asia, then those rulers are going to be overthrown and it's going to be a shit show, as we saw it was in Iran. So that's what happens to the rulers who you think you can have an Abraham Accord with. When their people have had enough, they overthrow those rulers. Why? Because you're killing Arabs, and they are Arabs, and they see you're killing other Arabs, they get offended, even if they're not related to those Arabs, because they feel they're going to be next. Because they are also Arabs. It's simple. If I see you killing brown people and I'm brown, I feel I'm going to be next. So I'm not going to be on friendly terms with you unless I'm shedding my pants. Do you see where I'm going with this? Unless I'm shedding my pants. And the Shah of Iran, in his last interviews, clearly he was grumbling, and he clearly was shedding his pants with regards to Israel. As in, like, what the fuck is going on? What happened? I thought I was the good guy here. And suddenly the new kid in town is getting all the arms that I had to pay for. The new kid in town is getting all those arms for free. That was the perspective of Shah of Iran. It's like, what the fuck happened here? I'm getting last year's fashion. I'm getting F-14s, and I'm paying for F-14s through the nose, and the Israelis are getting F-16s for free as a grant. So, a few instances that you see these local Arab leaders, sign some papers with you. That's those are not with the consent of their people, because their people are also shitting their pants because they're Arabs and they see you killing other Arabs, so they feel threatened. Do you think it is ever going to end? I'm sorry, my Israeli friends, Jewish people who live, Ashkenazi folks or Jewish people who live in Israel, just let it go, man. Your best deal is to just move out. Your best option is just move out. The idea that, we want a democracy, but we also don't want to live as a minority in this democracy, is the idea behind Zionism, behind Israel. The idea that, we want a democracy, but also we don't want to be a minority in a democracy. Well, I'm sorry, it is what it is. I have been a minority of one almost everywhere I lived on this planet, religiously. Almost everywhere I was a minority of one. It's tough luck. I know it's horrible in terms of, being in a minority of one most of your life. It you know it you know it is what it is. It's tough luck. But you also, I understand, you think you should be in a majority at least in one place in the world. Is it worth it? You see the shit show, especially if because you have chosen a place that a whole bunch of other people want to visit and feel safe in and want to live there. And it had a native population, uh, quite a lot of native population. I mean, if you choose to, go to the Sahara Desert in Africa, north of Timbuktu, that's an empty piece of land. If you want to go put a claim on a piece of land, you have to find a piece of land that nobody's already living on it. This is a lie that they have told to the young Jewish Ashkenazi folks who become Zionists. They lie that nobody was living here. Of course it was. It's a place that has been holy for three different religions for 5,000 years, 10,000 years. You can't be empty if you can't be a empty place if you're holy to three different religions for the past 5,000 years. It can't be. It has to have a very good economy. Will have a good economy if it's important to so many people. And now you come in and you expect those people, the natives, to move out. The majority of the natives to move out. You keep 10-20% of them just for show and tell, but you make sure they're the minority. That's the whole point. Is it worth it? I don't think PTSD is worth anything is worth PTSD. I don't think anything on this planet is worth PTSD. And I've it's clear to me that almost all Israelis are living with PTSD. There's no way to live. Your government, apparently, a lot of people at the top are filling their pockets with a lot of money, so they don't care, apparently. I think people of Israel should vote in this matter by just moving out. And say, hey, yeah, it was an idea, but it seems, we are a minority trying to enforce on our will on a majority which are Arab. We are a minority of European, Ashkenazi, Jewish folks who are trying to enforce our will upon the majority of Asian, brown skinned Arabs in West Asia. It's not going to, I don't see an end to this, so I'm going to where Europeans live. I accept that I'm going to be a minority for all my life. Just like I have accepted that I'm going to be a minority for all my life. So you should accept to be a minority all your life and, go back to, wherever their second passport is from. And stop, then your government has no choice but to stop the bloodshed. Now they're trying to recruit the religious men and women, and just like Uncle Sam's managers now they're trying to recruit women into the military draft, and now you're trying to recruit religious folks to the draft. Because it's a never-ending war. Do you want a never-ending war? Is that the objective? Do you want to make soldiers of all your people? For what purpose? L'chaim. L'chaim without PTSD, por favor.